Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and to another Fortnite tips and tricks video. And this one's about Fortnite's new game mode, Fortnite Reload. So recently Fortnite released a new mode which is a smaller battle royale map with only 40 players and it's only squads, but you get to respawn if one of your teammates is still alive. Then, more near the end of the game, the respawns are all disabled and you just have to fight for endgame. Now, there is supposed to be duos and trios modes coming out soon. This mode is based more off the OG map. It has a lot of weapons from previous seasons. Now, it can also be very hectic and chaotic at times. This video is going to be the best drop spots and loot spots in order to help you have more success when playing this mode. Since you're likely going to be respawning a lot, it's going to be a great advantage to just know where you can get a bunch of chests very quickly. And sometimes you might not be able to land back at the initial POI that you landed at if the other team is just beaming you out of the sky. So the very first drop spot is an unnamed spot, and it's this bridge that's just in between Dusty Docks and Lazy Laps. Now, there's a lot of chests along the stream that go underneath this bridge. There's chests all in the surrounding area. There's also a vending machine where you can buy healing items every single game, and also all the chests in this mode are always going to be where they spawn. But it's not like regular Battle Royale, where sometimes there could be a chest at a place and then other times the chest might not be there. And now on the lower level of the bridge, there's a ton of chests, and there's even more chests and a fire pit underneath this bridge. And on the bridge itself and on the top metal beams, there could also be a few more chests, and I'm sure you probably noticed, this place is also just littered with floor spawns. It's also usually not very contested, as most players seem to prefer to go to Dusty Docks itself or Lazy Laps. This is also a great place to fall back to if you get respawned because you end up getting killed, or if there's just too many people going to Dusty Docks or Lazy Laps. And now the reason you want to be looking for places that have lots of chests is because you can't buy any weapons from any vending machines in this mode. There's no NPCs, there's no bosses, so the only way you can get really good weapons, like legendary weapons or mythic weapons, is to find them in chests. So the more chests you open, the higher the chance of you finding really good loot. You can also even get exotic weapons, such as the Heisted Maven shotgun, but they are extremely rare. So now let's talk about the next drop spot. Now this spot is just a pretty big house that's just an unnamed location, and it's near Little Loot Lake and Dusty Docks. Now, I don't ever really see anybody going here, and now this place has quite a few levels on it and a lot of floor drops and quite a few chests, but it does take you a little while to sometimes find them all. But this is a pretty good place to drop with you and your squad if you're not really confident fighters and you just want to have some time to loot up first and get it all geared up and shielded up before going out and trying to get into any fights. And now you're going to notice that a lot of these spots I'm recommending are going to be on the edges of the map, and that is because Tilted Towers, which is a fan favorite, everybody loves Tilted Towers, is right in the middle of the map. And now everybody usually always tends to be rotating in there, or they end up tending to be landing there. And now since you're going to have to kill a whole squad before anybody can respawn to come back, with how big Tilted Towers is, it's really hard to actually sometimes find the last player on someone's team to actually eliminate them, since there's so many tall buildings and so many places to hide. Plus, you're bound to get third-partied if you land at Tilted, because everybody who lands at all the POIs on the edges of the map is likely going to have to rotate into there because of how the storm generally pulls to the middle of the map. Now the next spot here is just at the top left corner of the map where all these Winnebagos and cars are parked near Pleasant Park. Now obviously you can get a whole lot of metal here, and there's like this car statue at the very end. It has usually two chests and a floor drop on top of it. And then if you just go over to where all the Winnebagos are parked, I think there's 2 or 3 more chests on top of some of these vehicles. There's plenty of floor drops around this area too. It's a great place to fall back to if you are contested or get taken out in Pleasant Park and have to respawn. And it's also really close so that you can come and see what's going on there afterwards if you land here first and maybe get some cheeky easy limbs. So now the next spot I'm going to show you is the OG Loot Llama. Now you can find this location at the bottom right hand corner of the map, and it's really close to Retail Row. Now if your team is landing at Retail Row, this is a really great spot to land. And there's also a couple chests that are just along the outskirts of the island. And from these locations here, you're going to have a really great bird's eye view of everybody else who's going to be landing on the roofs of the houses and stores inside of Retail Row. Now you can get quite a bit of loot in the Loot Llama itself. I believe there's like 2 or 3 chests there with one underneath it. And then there's 2 more chests, as I said earlier, just on the outskirts of the island going around Retail Row. And again, like I said, these spots here are going to give you a really great view of everything that's going on in Retail Row. And if you're lucky enough to find a sniper or an infantry rifle or a hunting rifle, you can definitely pick up some easy eliminations this way, and you're going to have high ground as well on everybody who landed inside of Retail Row. This also makes an excellent split drop, as one person can land at the llama, one person can land at the 2 chests on the hill, and then 2 other teammates can land together inside of Retail Row. So now I'm going to get into some spots where you can just get a lot of chests and a lot of loot very quickly. Now the first one is near Lone Lodge. There's these 2 islands. Now the one I bypassed over there has 2 chests on it, and the bigger one that I'm on right now has a little hut on the end that has a chest, and then there's 3 chests around a tree, and then another chest on the shoreline of this island. That's 5 chests, plus 2 on the other island that's right beside here, and then there's 1 more chest just across the water there towards Lone Lodge, and then there's a little tiny tent and campground area, I believe, with another 2 chests. So just by landing on this island, you can literally loot 5 chests in literally under a minute, which is going to give you a good chance of getting some good loot very quickly over everyone else who has to go and actually search different buildings and such in order to get that many chests, making this a very excellent spot to loot up. Definitely one of the better ones I've found so far in Fortnite Reload. Now the next one is this small little cabin that's in between Lazy Laps and Retail Row. Now this cabin is really small, but it does have a lot of floor drops. Now there's usually a chest hidden inside the roof, which you'll have to break the ceiling in order to find. And there's always 3 chests here. So what's nice about this spot is there is some cover. You're not just out in the open looting. And like I said, it's very small. You get 3 chests very quickly and a lot of floor loot, making it an alright spot to fall back to if you need to, or to land at if you end up getting rebooted. The only real problem with this location is I would definitely say there's not enough loot for an entire squad. Maybe like a duo if you count the floor drops. But it is a spot where nobody really goes, and it's not a bad spot at all, and it's fairly safe to loot up here. Now that brings us to the next cool little loot spot. Now this is at the other little lake, not Little Loot Lake, but the other smaller one, more near Sandy Sheets and Snobby Shoals. Now there's a tiny island in the middle of this lake, and there's quite a few floor drops on this island itself, and there are 3 chests surrounding this little island, and 1 more inside a little hut that is on the island. So you can get 4 chests very quickly by landing here, and then there's more chests just along the outskirts of the lake as well, and it's very close for you to go in third-party Shandy Sheets, which also has a vending machine to buy heals if you don't find any, making this a pretty decent little spot to loot up very quickly. And since there's plenty of chests around the outskirts of this lake, your whole entire squad can land here, and you should be able to get more than enough loot for everybody. Now, we're going to go on to next few little drop spots around the map, and now there's all these Easter Island heads that are scattered around the map, and they always generally have 3 chests surrounding them. Now, the first one of these statue heads is located on a little hill between Pleasant Park and Lone Lodge. And now the second one of these Easter Island heads is also located on a little hill. This one is in between Tilted Towers and Sandy Sheets. And now with this one, after you grab the 3 chests that are around the statue head itself, if you go over towards Sandy Sheets and the tiny lake, you're going to find a bunch of rocks, and there's 2 more chests that you can get there. That's going to give you 5 chests. There's also a gas station right near that statue, and that also has some more loot inside it that you can get. And I also believe it has a vending machine too that sells heals, making this a really great spot to land if you get respawned and your team is in Tilted Towers, or if you want to go third party Tilted Towers. Now on to the third and final Easter Island head. Now this one is in between Tilted Towers and Little Loot Lake, but it's kind of hidden along the edge of one of those hills. It's kind of hard to see. It has a black car sitting on top of it. Also take note of the rubble with some floor drops just below it and another additional chest. So you can get 4 chests landing here very quickly. Now this is a great spot to fall back to if you are defeated and respawned, or if you're a contestant landing at Little Loot Lake or Tilted Towers. And now if you head towards Little Loot Lake, you're also going to find this dock that kind of looks over the lake. It gives you a little bit of high ground, and there's tons of chests all around that as well. And it has 2 chests on it. So this makes very good split drop for you and your team. And so much split dropping in this mode I find is really good, because it's harder for enemy players to eliminate your whole team and get you guys out of the game very quickly. But now that will be it for this video. I'm Big Papa Smurf 187. Thank you for tuning in. Let me know what you think about Fortnite Reload in the comments down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll hopefully catch you on the next video. Bye bye for now. And don't forget, have fun gaming.